Basalla and Macondo. One of the many ways to determine the literary value of a text is to count how many reading possibilities it presents. Polysemy is, without a doubt, one of Cien Años de Soledad virtues. In this case, the book written by Gabriel García Márquez can be used as an example of the three-stage model proposed by George Basalla on the spread on Western science. The science brought by the Gypsies and José Arcadio Buendía attitudes and adventures can be used to illustrate the three phases of the scientific dissemination. First, it is important to recognize that in this chapter of the book, the phases do not occur in what we could be considered a chronological order. Furthermore, as is the nature of Macondo, things tend to happen not when they are supposed to, but when they do. The first phase, where Eastern European scientists and scholars arrive to an exotic location and start cataloging the region, either for mercantile gain or curiosity, can be represented in the tales of the gypsies and the origin of the wonders and invasions they bring to Macondo. Amsterdam, Singapore, Memphis, etc. All these places have an exotic ring to them. Also, the gypsies use the various telescopes, magnifying lenses, artifacts, and potions to make profit. The gypsies also could be considered agents of the second phase and the establishment of the colonial science. In this phase, the local scientists start to develop an interest in their own cosmos, performing research, doing scientific and academic work, and start to make contributions to the scientific community on their own. All this within the framework established by the metropolis. In this case, the gypsies represent this framework by providing José Arcadio Buendía, the local scientist, with the tools and sometimes the knowledge he needs to embark himself in different research projects. Also, in the second phase, the local scientists usually seek a validation from the scientific institutions of the metropolis. In this case of Macondo, José Arcadio Buendía develops an interesting relationship with Melquiades. For him, Melquiades is the visible face of progress and science that resides in the vast world across the river. Also, at the point José Arcadio Buendía finally receives the validation from Melquiades and is awarded the alchemy laboratory. The borderline obsession of José Arcadio with the outside world, con echar unos líquidos mágicos en la tierra para que las plantas dieran frutos a voluntad del hombre, y donde se vendían a precio de baratillo toda clase de aparatos para el dolor, can also represent the need and awe for the science of the centers of knowledge during the second phase. According to Basalla, in the third phase, the local community of scientists make a deliberate effort to create national scientific industry, with establishment of specialized journals, awards, discussion groups, etc. This effort in many cases is led and supported by the central government. This process does not occur in Macondo as clearly as it is described. For instance, there is only one scientist, but considering the small population of the town, José Arcadio represents a high count of scientists per capita. Also, he did have many acolytes for his adventure in the north. He did, however, what would be considered the precursor of the third phase. After many weeks of feverish research, he finally discovered that the earth is round. Of course, he did it with the tools and equipment provided by the gypsies, but he did his own and independent scientific process, and once the discovery was made, he proceeded to summon the town and try to explain it to them. For Macondo standards, that could be considered a local scientific community and institutions. As we could see, Cien Años de Soledad is a masterpiece that offers many reading and interpretative possibilities. Basalla's model of scientific dissemination outside the West can be illustrated within the first chapter of the book using José Arcadio Buendía and the Gypsies as an allegory.